All right, well, howdy, folks. Welcome to the first episode of Pasture Talk. This is something that I've been kicking around doing for a little while now. Would like to bring you guys a little bit more consistent content from us, and it's probably going to kind of come in the form of just something like this. Hoping to do this once a week on Saturdays. Just give you guys a little bit of an update of kind of what's going on with Legacy Ranch and in our lives as first generation ranchers, and just kind of share some of the ups and downs and stories and some of our experiences. Hopefully, it's educational. Hopefully, it's a little bit entertaining. Um, Sometimes it might be a little more action packed, and we might be doing something, and I throw that on there. It's going to be pretty open ended at this point. Don't really plan on editing anything. Just really want this to be not something that controls my life, and really takes up more of my time, but just something that I can quickly do that keeps you guys kind of informed and up to date with what's going on. So, really today, I kind of wanted to just start off with just giving an overview and a little bit of an introduction to who we are and telling our story a little bit, because if you go to our website, we have things all you can read our whole story on there. We have a short video that's a little bit of about us, but never really taken the time to really put together a video that really outlines kind of our whole story and kind of how we've gotten to where we're at today, um, and just kind of the journey that God has had us on. So I'd like to kind of start there. So this is kind of an introduction video, um, and really the point of these is kind of hopefully for our customers, those who have already bought beef from us and just kind of want to tag along and learn more about what we do. You'll see these coming through. We'll link these videos in our weekly email that goes out, and we'll put them in our on our social medias as well. We'll put a link to a YouTube video on our social medias. Um, so really, I guess I kind of wanted to start at the beginning a little bit. So first of all, I'm Sawyer Cottrell, and I'm the owner of Legacy Ranch American Wagyu, and my wife Abby and I started this business in 2019, and we have three kids: Sierra, Turner, and Paxton, and we live here on this rented ranch here in Eureka, just outside of town, our hometown where we both grew up. Um, so I was born and raised well, I was raised in town for a little while, and then moved to the country when I was going into middle school, and actually moved right across the road from where Abby was growing up, and so we've known each other all of our lives, and I never really didn't think I had an opportunity to farm or to get into agriculture. It seemed like that was a little bit of a long shot for me. My dad doesn't farm. There's really no farming in our family, and so in this area, it's pretty much all row crop farming. There's very little cattle. Um, we're kind of in Illinois. There's not a ton of cattle where we are at right in here in Eureka. There's the Mackinac River Valley that runs through, and so there's a little more rolling acres, and so which leads to a few more cow calf operations, but all very very small scale. So um, I thought I'd hit the jackpot when I was a junior in high school, and I got an opportunity to start working for a local um, cattle farmer and organic row crop producer who I attended church with. And so I started working for him when I was in high school and got a lot of experience. We had a feedlot where we buy cattle in from the sale barn and put together groups and finish them out or sell them as feeder calves. We had a cow calf herd of about 50 cows that I kind of managed, and we wean the calves and sell those in the fall. So got a really well-rounded experience there, working on equipment and just understanding the value of facilities and genetics a little bit, and just how to work with cattle, how to feed cattle, and all that kind of stuff. And so just kind of learned on the fly. So had a had a great experience there. And then part of what I did there was ran his bean walking crew. So every summer, because he's an organic producer, he couldn't use commercial sprays to spray the fields to kill the weeds, and so um, he would use conventional tillage methods like rotary hose and cultivators and things like that. But whatever weeds that they couldn't get with those tools, we'd have to go and hand walk. So we'd walk through the fields and pull the weeds. Um, so I would kind of run the crews, line up kids, run the crews. It started off like five of us the first year that I was doing it, and every year it kind of steadily grew as his operation grew and picked up more acres, um, and it kind of grew to the point that we started needing more and more kids, and then other farmers were reaching out and saying, "Hey, can you come walk our beans when you get done with his?" And So that's kind of one leg of our story that I'll kind of go down that path a little bit, and I'm going to kind of have to kind of go down a path and then backtrack and go down another one. But so we started Central Illinois Bean Walkers then out of seeing a need and a hole in our community, and there was a need for an organized group of bean walkers, and so we started the business, and it's called Central Illinois Bean Walkers, and we started an LLC, my wife and I, and we started hiring the kids ourselves, contracting out to other producers and all that, and we're still doing that today. We have about 120 kids that work for us during the summers, and that really kind of sparked an interest in me to work with youth and just invest in young people and encourage them in their lives, and so that kind of leads into the kind of the next thing. So well, I guess we started CIB, things were going well. We ran it our first year. We realized that there was actually a really good business opportunity. We were going to be able to make some pretty good money doing it. There was definitely a demand and a need. Um, and so I was kind of looking for ways to be able to kind of farm on my own. Like I said, had always been interested in agriculture and wanting to farm, but didn't really think that I had the opportunity. And so when I was working for Pete, farming full time, I thought that was what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And when I was a junior in high school, or I guess it'd be the end of my junior year, he came in to me and said, "Hey, I think I could employ you full time when you graduate from high school." And so I went to school the next day, and I told the counselor, like, I'm going to farm, so take me out of all my dual credit classes I was signed up for. I think I was going to go be a diesel mechanic or take some ag classes at our local community college. And I said, forget that. I want to farm. So that was kind of what I had set my mind to. And so then when we started CIB, we saw an opportunity to kind of maybe start to do some things on our own. And the other thing that I did every year for Pete was I ran the manure spreader in the fall and in the spring, spreading chicken litter. So most organic producers can't use, or they no organic producers can use synthetic fertilizers, and so they have to use a lot of chicken and turkey litter that they spread on their fields. And um, so I would run that spreader, and I was starting to get phone calls from other producers in the area that would ask, "Hey, when you get done spreading Pete's manure, would he let you come and use that manure spreader and spread mine for me?" And so I saw an opportunity there as well. And so the grand plan was I was going to run CIB in the summer, and I was going to buy some equipment, and I was going to spread manure in the spring and the fall. And then I had my CDL, so I was maybe going to buy a semi and start trucking a little bit in the winter, hauling some manure or whatever. And then Abby and I were married in 2017, and we moved on to this farm that we're at now. We're renting this, and we have about 10 acres of pasture here that I'm sitting in right now. And we had about 10 Angus cows, and it was just kind of an expensive hobby. But we had a small cattle herd that we had started, and we were just selling our calves every fall at the sale barn, and didn't really have a lot of room to grow. It was kind of just is what it is, and it was just something that I enjoyed, but it wasn't something that was really making us a lot of money. And so, but I did have that going too. So I was gonna walk beans, spread manure, drive a truck, and raise some cattle. That was kind of the plan we thought with CIB. Um, you know, doing most of the um, keeping us afloat financially. We could take on some debt with the equipment, and we thought we could make it happen. So that was the track that we're heading down until we went to look at some equipment in Iowa and some manure spreading equipment. We were on our way back from there, and Abby and I were just talking, and it was something that I'd always thought would be really cool to do was be an ag teacher, but I never really saw myself going back to school for 4 years to get my degree to be able to teach high school agriculture. And so kind of just always written it off in my mind as like, that'd be cool, but um, I don't think I could ever do that. At that time, we had already had Sierra, our oldest daughter. And so going back to college looked like a mountain. And so it was in the fall, it was like November time frame. And I'll never forget, I'd had several conversations with folks, kind of voiced that was something I would love to do. And I had some people that really speak into my life and really encouraged me that I should really think about that, pray about it. And so I was driving a tractor in the fall. I was chiseling ground, and I thought I need to just call ICC the local community college and just see what this would look like. What would it take for me to get my degree? How long would it take? How fast could I do it? And so I called over to ICC and I got a hold of a lady who encouraged me to just get signed up for some classes. And it was really a God moment for me because I didn't, I don't think that I had no intention of actually signing up for college with that phone call. But basically, she just said, "Hey, I'm going to sign you up for these classes starting in January. And you call me back and let me know if you want me to cancel them." And so I hung up the phone and I called Abby and I just said, I'm going to college. Like I had no reason to call her back and tell her to cancel those classes. And so here I was 23 years old and I was married and I had our first, we had our daughter and I was a business owner and I was kind of living my dream farming and all of a sudden I turned around in January, I'm sitting in my first college class at ACC and I had 3.5 to 4 years of college ahead of me. And I was like, what am I doing here? Um, so time went on and, got through community college and transferred to ISU, Illinois State University, to get my ag ed degree. And I always had the intention of teaching here at Eureka High School, which is where I graduated from. I had watched the ag program just kind of struggle over the years. We had some great people that came in and taught for a couple of years and then moved on. And so the program just didn't have any consistency. And I was watching that kind of from the outside looking in, and just it was a shame to me. And I really wanted to see that program thrive. I feel like it's kind of just a really vital part of our community. And so I really wanted to teach at Eureka. Had no intention of really teaching anywhere else. And so I was had about a year left of college. I had a semester of classes and then a semester of student teaching, and I got a phone call from the principal here at the high school, and he said, "Hey, I understand that you're just about done with your teaching degree, and we're going to have an opening next year. Um, what would that look like for you? Would that be a possibility?" And I said, "Well, absolutely. I'd be very interested, but I still have a year of college left to finish up." And he said, "Well, let's see what we can do." So they shuffled some things around and made it possible for me to be able to actually student teach there, and under a past ag teacher. And so it just was amazing. God just blew the doors open, and all of a sudden, I had an opportunity to teach at Eureka High School. And so I'm just finishing up my second year of teaching full time my hometown high school, which is just a huge blessing and a challenge all at the same time. And it's been amazing to see how God works, but it's also put a lot of stress and strain on our family. But we truly see God's hand working, and we feel like this is 100% where we're supposed to be. So so kind of backtracking a little bit. Uh, so I haven't really talked anything about Legacy Ranch. So um, Legacy Ranch was started. Um, really, we so Abby and I had raised a few organic calves back when I was working full time for Pete. We took a few calves and we fed them organic grain, and then we got them butchered and we took them to the farmers market and tried selling some beef that way. And really, we just saw an opportunity to sell some direct to consumer beef. It was starting to gain some traction, but really organic beef was not our passion. It wasn't something that we were super excited about. You know, we believe that organic is valuable and people definitely are interested in that, and there's definitely a niche market there, but it wasn't what we were really truly passionate about. And so going to those farmers markets was just kind of difficult. Felt like we were selling an idea more than a product. And so um, we did that. So we had that experience a little bit and knew the challenges a little bit of that. And so we were, I was going through college and we realized we got these 10 cows and they're not really doing much for us. It's fun, we enjoy it, but it's just an expensive hobby. And so I had heard about Wagyu beef from a friend of mine, and um, I was excited about it. I was like, I think that's something that I could really get behind. It's a product that kind of sells itself. It's unique. It's different. It's high quality. It's going to kind of it's going to kind of speak for itself. It's not something you have to really sell very hard. As soon as somebody tries it for the first time, they're going to notice the difference, and they're going to realize that it's special and it's different. And um, so we bred 3 of our cows using AI, using artificial insemination. I bred 3 of our cows. Actually, I think I bred 5 or 8 or something, but only 3 of them stuck. So we ended up with 3 pregnancies out of that AI, and to a Wagyu bull, and we got those calves on the ground, and then we kind of realized like this is going to take a while. Like it's going to take 2 full years to get these calves ready to sell any beef. And so we're like, by that time I'm gonna be just about done with college. And so if we really want to do this now, we need to make some moves and try to speed this process up a little bit. So we located some cattle that were close, actually, just right down, like very close to us, which was kind of crazy story in and of itself. We found some Wagyu fat cattle that were finished and ready to go to market. And the guy was planning on moving, and so he kind of needed to move these cattle. So we bought those from him, and we're able to start selling beef right away. And so we started Legacy Ranch, set up the LLC. We worked with a company called Barn to Door to build a website and an online store. And um, one experience while starting Legacy Ranchers, we went to an attorney to set up the LLC, and I'll never forget. And I don't think he meant anything. He didn't mean any. He didn't mean to be negative, but he just was kind of he just kind of asked like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Nobody really makes money in the cattle business around here, do they?" And I think Abby would tell you that I walked out of that office with a little bit of fire in my eyes. I was ready to kind of prove that theory wrong, and I believe that through some unique ideas and going to market in a little bit of a unique way and a little more modern way than most farmers were doing at the time. Um, I felt like there was really an opportunity to actually make money raising beef cattle and actually get paid um, a fair value for the work that we put into raising these animals. And um, so we started Legacy Ranch and started selling beef online. It was just all local pickup. We had all of our freezers in our basement. People would come in. It's just amazing to me to think back of how we ran business. But people would come to our house and come down in our dingy little farmhouse basement and step over our dirty laundry and to pick up their Wagyu beef. And it was not a very good way of doing business, but it was what we had, and it was what was working. So we weren't shipping anything at the time. It was just all local pickup, and then we ended up buying a small portable building. We moved the freezers out of our basement and into a small building on our property here, and then we ended up eventually moving the building into town on the main drag and main street in town, and then we started shipping. We joined a nationwide community of other direct consumer producers called Farm Rebel that really coached us along of how to go to market really efficiently and effectively using social media and Facebook marketing and being able to ship our beef nationwide. And we realized that until we can make our beef available to anybody in the country with 2 day shipping, we're going to be overlooked very quickly because everybody is used to buying their beef or buying really any products and having it shipped directly to their home and not even have to leave the house. And so we realize that until we can do that, we're not going to be very accessible, and it's going to be really hard to really build a sustainable business. And so we dove headfirst into shipping beef and figuring that out. We hired so I was teaching full time at the high school, still am, and so we have I'm the FFA advisor, which is Future Farmers of America, and we have an officer team, which is a group of 10 kids, junior and senior students who lead our FFA chapter. And so our FFA president that year was Kylie Balducci, who works full time for us now. And so when she graduated, I gave her a job full time feeding some cattle for us and starting to do some sales and marketing. And so she kind of took over doing a little bit of that for me while I was teaching, um, and and now we've hired actually a second past FFA officer, Naomi Wegner, who also does sales and marketing for us. So we have it's kind of a team of us four. It's Abby and I and Kylie and Naomi that run Legacy Ranch and do all the day to day operations and the shipping and the marketing and all that stuff. So um, I feel like I've left a lot of details out in our story, and there's so many memories and so many good days, so many bad days. There's been a lot of really hard things that we've gone through. Um, while I was going through college, there was a time frame in there where I was, I took multiple part-time jobs. I worked at a welding shop for a while. I worked for a local equipment dealer, uh, turning a wrench, and um, I drove a semi. I hauled steel out of Chicago, so I'd leave at night about 7 o'clock and get back about 1 or 2 in the morning, several nights a week, just to try to make ends meet and pay bills while I was going through college and building our business. And so, we don't own a single acre of land. We've everything we have, we're renting. We're renting this farm. We're renting all of our pasture. Um, we're starting to put together a line of equipment that we're purchasing. We've taken on quite a bit of business debt to be able to grow our business. And so building a first generation ranch is stressful, and it puts a strain on your family, on family time. And it's definitely something that, um, it's really hard to really understand what you're getting yourself into when you start. And it's something that quickly snowballs, and all of a sudden you're doing a bunch of different things and being pulled a bunch of different directions. And I thrive on that. That's something that I enjoy, being busy, um, and having. I feel like I operate well under stress, um, but that can be a challenge with family time and in our marriage and stuff. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. This is not um, it's not a walk in the park, but it is so rewarding. Abby and I truly feel like everything that we do in life is a ministry. Um, and we feel like even raising our kids and teaching them some of these valuable life lessons is just super critical. And um, so yeah, I'm so kind of today where we're at now is, I'm teaching full time, and kind of steer the ship with Legacy Ranch still. In the summertime, we run CIB still. We have a group of older kids that kind of run the crew for us. We have about 50 kids a day that come out and walk beans all day. So our front yard will be, we got picnic tables underneath the shade tree. Kids come over lunch and sit down and eat their lunch and go back out for the afternoon. And um, this place is just kind of a hub of activity all the time, and we love that. We love our community. We love we love just working with young people. Young people just energize me, and uh, and I just get super excited being able to speak into their lives a little bit, and I hope that it adds value. Um, so that's a little bit of our story and our journey. I feel like I left out a lot of details, probably rambled on some things that maybe you don't really care too much about, but moving forward, I'm going to probably focus most of my time in these short videos. They'll be short from here on out, 5 minutes or less, hopefully, if I can keep myself from rambling. Um, but really, most of those will maybe give you a little bit more of an in-depth look at how we raise our livestock. Just kind of a little bit more of the day-to-day stuff. But I really kind of want to start off with just this video to kind of give you a sense of who we are, what we do. So hopefully it's valuable and beneficial. And we'll see. There'll be times where maybe it'll be short and sweet. Maybe there'll be something that happens that I really want to dive into a little bit more in depth. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Plan to be fairly unedited and just kind of off the cuff. And feel free to give feedback if there's something that you want to hear about, or see how we do things. Feel free to put that in the comments, and I can try to touch on that a little bit. So have a great rest of the day and live on purpose, folks.